this week's episode of Modern Day Heroes. I am so stoked for today's guest. It's a friend of mine I haven't seen in a year. And what's funny, we're actually probably coming up on a year when we met.
Yes.
Here in like a couple weeks. And this man has blown up since
Thank
we
you.
last talked, man. And so I'm excited to dive into it. I want to hear more about what's caused that and what you're doing. And we want to see inside your brain for the next 30 to 40 minutes if you'd allow us.
Sure. You never know what you're going to get in there, man. It's all crazy up in there.
Well, let me introduce my friend, Coach Micheal Burt. We're here in Nashville in his Greatness Factory. If you are in Nashville or if you pass by Nashville, come check this place out. If you're doing an event, if you're doing a podcast, if you want to just come in and just see an incredible building, come do it. It's amazing what you're building.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
You're welcome. Give the audience a little bit of context on who Coach Burt is, my friend.
Yeah, I like to say women's basketball coach for 13 years, built a powerhouse team at a second largest high school in Tennessee that would go on to win 7 of 9 state championships, really learn how to engineer people during that cycle, activate what I now call the pray drive. Started writing books because people wanted to know what I was doing, and I didn't have time to explain it. So I've now written 20 books, and now I'm in the business of coaching a lot of people. About 2,000 people a month we coach, and then building cool commercial structures like this.
That's right.
Called the Greatness Factory. Got a beautiful wife named Natalie who's incredible. She runs our couples division called Living with a Monster, and the 3 beautiful kids, and just trying to make this thing go here in Nashville. This is a new adventure for me, but I'm having a lot of fun.
Good. We're just getting started, man.
Just getting started, man.
So I'm interested. 7 to 9 state championships. Everyone's asking you how you're doing it. Where did the natural transition go into? Yeah, I'm stepping away from basketball and I'm just going to step into coaching coaches. Tell me about how that transition came about.
Well, my dream was to win championships in high school, go to college, be a major college Division I coach. I had zero intention of doing what I do today. It wasn't on a dream board.
Interesting.
It wasn't like I'm going to go up and be a performance coach. I literally just wanted to coach basketball, right? And I loved it. I worked 80 hours a week. I loved it. I never had a lot of money. I was just out there doing it. And for something at 25 years old told me to write a book. And it's because people were asking me. I believe a good coach can change your life.
Yeah.
I believe everybody who's done something big is mentored or studied under someone. So I wrote a little book at 25 called Changing Lives Through Coaching. I had no idea what to do with it. I didn't know how to market it. But I'm like, I got this book. I need to get it out there somehow. So I started speaking. And I would go out and speak for free. Rotary clubs, banquets, young coaches, whatever. And then people started to say to me, man, that was really good. Will you come work with my team? I didn't even know what to charge. I'm like, sure. Like, what does that look like? And they're like, well, come do 3 hours with my team.
And you're still coaching?
I'm still coaching.
Okay.
I'm still coaching, working 80 hours a week. And then people started to go, come speak to my team. And we'll pay you to speak to my team. And I'm like, okay. And I go speak, and then they'd say, we want you to coach our team. And I'm like, man, I can't do that. I'm working 80 hours a week. I'm a high school teacher. I can't do this. But it's so funny because it kept growing and growing. I'd go do one gig, and 6 people would ask me to be their coach. And so by the time I was 31, I had been there 12 or 13 years. I had built a championship team. You know what I'm saying? I had done everything I could do.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, what's the next big? And I'm like, I think I can do this. So at 31 years old, I retired, and I started this coaching company. And at first, I was a speaker, and I was a coach, right? And that's what I did. I'd go speak, and people would ask me to coach. By that time, I'd written 4 or 5 books. And I liked the writing process because it gave me content, and I wanted something to say. So then it just, for the last, 15 years, that's all I've been doing. And that's why you're seeing maybe some traction is I got a clear message. I got real core beliefs in what I believe. I call it long obedience in the same direction, man.
I love
That's
that,
what you're
man.
seeing, really.
Good.
Yeah.
The compound effect.
It is.
I'm impressed by that. And I think one of the things that defines your niche is what you mentioned is pray drive.
Yep.
No one's talking about it. No one really knows what it is.
Yep.
Tell us what pray drive means to you, and then also how you identify that within yourself.
Yeah. Well, pray drive is prevalent in an animal, right? This is where the concept originated. A dog has a prey drive, which is its ability to stalk, capture, and kill prey. That's where the concept came from. Now, I trademarked it in humans.
I love it.
And I'm like, I've been doing this my whole life, but I didn't know what to call it. See, some people say motivation, this, But motivation means to move. It's kind of cotton candy. It comes and goes. What happens when the coach is not there? And I kept going, there's a problem with this model. And so I started studying the top 20 motivational theories. I deconstructed those theories. And I came back and said, I'd like to come out with my own theory after 33 years of coaching people. And I think it's more about initiation, activating. So prey drive is your instinct to see something with the eyes and pursue it. See, this dream of a greatness factory started in my mind. I didn't see it with my eyes. I saw it in my mind. Then it's like I need persistence and I need intensity to pursue it, right? I need to pursue it. So prey drive is your instinct to pursue. And when I wrote the book, Flip the Switch, it's like, how do you activate that drive in people? It's activated by fear. Like go build a $7 million building. It'll give you a reason to get up in the morning. It'll give you a reason to get on the phones and follow up. And so fear activates the prey drive. Competition activates the prey drive. And I think you need a trophy to win, a game to play, something to pursue. You need some reason to get up and go get something, right? Like you need something big in the future. Environment activates prey drive, and you know that because you build environments. Exposure activates prey drive, which is why being in a room with big-time people. And embarrassment activates prey drive. It's like, man, I'm better than this. It's ridiculous. So in the book, I talk about the phases of prey drive and the activators of prey drive. But for me, probably fear of loss, competition, and embarrassment are my three motivators.
And how does someone identify which are their greatest motivators? Because embarrassment for me might actually not even be prevalent.
Yes.
But one might be so much stronger than the others. How do you identify that if I'm trying to figure that out or I'm a coach trying to figure that out for the people I'm coaching?
All self-improvement starts with self-awareness, number one. So just knowing you have a prey drive, that's an instinct inside of you to go pursue something. I think it was hardwired in you. I think it was given to you at birth to pursue. This is why people are so unhappy when they feel stuck, when they're not making moves, when they feel they're going backwards, when they can't get traction. That creates unhappiness. So first step is actually knowing what activates prey, what is prey drive, what are the activators of that drive, and having an awareness of like, when am I at a go on a go? You know what I'm saying? Like me, competition is so big because I was a coach. I always had a nemesis. There was always somebody to beat. They actually made me better, right? Telling me I can't do something activates my prey drive. Because I grew up, without my dad, I probably have a lot of psychological issues there. Like, even my dad didn't pay a lot of attention to me as a kid. So it's like when I feel rejected by something, it's like, oh, we find it another gear. It's like, thank you. I owe you, man. I needed that. I just know how to flip the switch and take kind of negative things and convert those to positive things today.
I love that.
Yeah.
I remember you once said to the group that you spoke to, my organization, you said, anytime someone doubts you, anytime someone says they don't believe in you, just thank them.
Thank you. I owe you.
That's right.
100%.
I love that. So you've won a lot in life. You've won a lot in business. You've won a lot in basketball by the terms of a scoreboard. I'm curious, after 20, 30, 40 years of experiencing winning, what does that mean to you?
Pursuing the worthy pursuit of a goal, of a target. To me, winning is progress. Winning is, a lot of people don't know how to locate their purpose. There's a lot of studies that show 87% of people live their entire lives and never find their purpose. They never locate their purpose. I actually believe, because I've done a lot of study on this, I've done big programs on it called Purpose to Profit or Package Your Purpose. Yeah. And so it caused me to think a lot about this. Like, how do you locate your purpose? Well, I actually don't think you locate it. I think it locates you when you are pursuing something. So I see something in the mind's eye or optically, and I go, man, I'm going to pursue this. And I pursue it. And in the process of pursuing, I'm like, man, I think this is my purpose. So I don't think you find it. I think it finds you. So success to me is pursuing. Success to me is moving toward a target with an intensity, with the velocity. And you have days you win, you have days you lose. But on balance, you win more than you lose.
So let's talk about the 86%. Is it necessary and mandatory in order to find your purpose to be in pursuit? Can you find your purpose without being in pursuit? Because what I find, everyone nowadays wants to wait. Yeah. And the moment you decide to flip the switch and start creating is when everything starts unfolding in your life. But it's just, how can you actually wait? and still find your purpose? I'm curious.
Well, I think I've coached people that are 81 years old. I've coached people that are just getting started. And what happens is you're at A and you're trying to get to B. But until you identify what B is, you don't move toward anything. You don't go from mental creation into physical action, right? And that progress toward that allows you. So think of purpose as exchange. I exchange my talents to help another person with their ambition. That person comes back and says, thank you, man. I owe you. That was good, right? And it's like, that just gave me a sense of purpose, right? Like in the early days, winning gave me a sense of purpose. But it really wasn't just the winning. It was like knowing that I made a difference in a kid's life, knowing that that there was this symbiotic relationship between the coach and the player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that gave me a sense of purpose. So purpose is exchange of talent to help another person with their ambition. But what if you sit? What if you have inertia? What if you don't move? What if you're stagnant? What if you're bored? What if you're complacent? How does purpose find you? I don't think it finds you. I think you find it when you are moving toward that goal. And you got to have a goal to do that.
So if you're not moving, get on the move.
I think that's what motivation means, to move.
Yeah.
Get out of mental creation and take the next step toward the B goal, right? And B is something you'd like to do. Now, people say, what does that mean? Get into physical action. A phone, just like you did, reaching out to me. Get in a room. Pick up the phone. Follow up with the person. Find somebody who can help you. Don't just sit and wait because it's not happening when you do that.
I love that. So you started coaching 20 years old?
Yeah, I started at 15, junior pro, elementary coach 18 and 19, went to high school at 19.
Okay. Quickly, you experienced success, and you were winning championships. Can you break down a tangible formula to win?
Yep. The great question. The first thing I did is I built the players from 4 parts of their nature: the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit. See, I was a deep disciple of Covey from 18 to 25, so I'm really studying Covey. He's very methodical on how you inner engineer a person. Yeah. Body, skill; mind, knowledge; heart, passion; spirit, confidence. Body, mind, heart, spirit. Wow. So I was teaching every player the 7 habits of highly effective people.
Okay.
Principle-centered leadership. First things first is back in the late 90s, early 2000s. This was unheard of.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I brought in strength and conditioning coach to get them stronger. This was unheard of. There were no women's basketball teams who had strength and conditioning coaches in the late 90s. I was the first dude. First dude to have a website. Like website up here where like I'm going to become a person of interest. I got a program. I'm going to write books. Like these people, high school coaches weren't doing these things. So I don't know why I was doing it. I think it's because I was going over to the business world and I was going, okay, this is how they build businesses. I think we can build a program. And I'm not interested in building a team. I'm interested in building a program that just wins, right? And I'm manufacturing greatness. And we actually used to call our program the Greatness Factory. So moms and dads would bring their kids to me, and I would say, thank you for bringing your daughter to the Greatness Factory. We're going to manufacture her greatness.
Wow.
And when I'm done with your daughter, she will be able to run for president of the United States. That's how strong. Wow. What's so funny is today, many of my players are coming back paying for my coaching. They're actually coaching students. Wow. They're coming back and they're business women and they're trying to make moves in the world. And they're saying, like, I still want to be coached by that dude.
That's awesome.
And so, a woman came up to me yesterday who was 50, 60, 70. And it's a big range. But she said, man, if I'd had a coach like you. She said, I didn't have a good coach.
Yeah.
She's like, I'd have loved to play for a dude like you.
Yeah.
And in the first 3 years, it probably wasn't that great to play for me because I didn't have a rhythm yet. I didn't know. Right, 25 years old, I go, I'm going to be intense and positive. I'm not going to be intense and negative. Because most people, the more intense they become, the more negative they become. And that didn't work for me. I was winning about 25, 26 games a year, but I couldn't win championships. And then I shifted. Intense, positive. I'm going to be a guy people love to play for.
What does that look like?
Well, it's just like, I want to play for that dude. I love coaching. It's the way you talk to the players. Like with you got these teams. It's like, man, I love coaching you. Thank you for your effort today. Show up like that every day. I noticed that you see where I'm going? I got a guy, Mike White, that showed up for 2 weeks here. I didn't even know him. He showed up for 2 weeks in front of the Greatness Factory, 6:30 in the morning, and sent me a message every morning. Sir, I'm ready to report for duty.
Wow.
I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm coming to work with you. I'm like, okay. Like, what are we going to do with you? Like, what skills do you have? You know what I'm saying? And he just kept showing up. And I finally told my wife, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this dude, but I love his attitude. He's humble. He's hungry. He's coachable. He's got great people skills.
Yeah.
I'll find something to do with him, right? So I said, I need somebody to run the operations of the Greatness Factory, show up every day, get people in, solve problems, go get my lunch. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, whatever, I'm in. So it's like I can coach people who are alert, curious, responsive. They're humble, they're hungry, they're teachable. So as a young coach, I started to build out these systems, these ways of thinking, these philosophy of development of people. Now I wrote about all of that in my books, right? The Pray Drive, Flip the Switch is a philosophy of motivation. This is how I activate the drive in people. This is what's missing in people. This is how we build teams. And all of that came from my past. So I like to say we're paying you for your past. Your past helps me to build my future. It's all valuable.
Another phrase that really has stuck with me ever since I heard it is everyone needs a coach. And I've actually believed that since I was 13 years old. Most people don't believe it. Most people have a hard time thinking that they need a coach. I don't know if it's a pride thing, but I need a coach for my marriage. I need a coach for my health.
Yep.
I need a coach for my spirituality. I need a coach for my business. I need a coach for my speaking. I need a sales coach. I need a life coach. Yep. Dive in, you being a coach, and you essentially, your business is getting people to buy into that belief that I do need a coach. Speak to the people that are on the other side of, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that.
Yep. Well, this is a tough one because I have such a deep conviction. See, I was raised by a single mom. She worked 2 and 3 jobs. She is a hustler, man. She gets up and works. And she would take me to the local baseball field while she was working her jobs, right? And I would stay at the baseball field for hours. And it was really coaches who kind of like semi-raised me.
Yeah.
And at an early age, I observed a person could have some knowledge, some skill, some desire, some confidence, and a coach would help develop that, steward that. Like my daughter's playing softball right now. She never played softball in her life. Just with about 30 minutes of practice a day, she's hitting the ball, she's catching. She didn't even know how to do any of that stuff. It's like this is what a coach does. A coach helps you, right? They're not there because something's wrong with you. So a lot of people think, I don't need a coach, man. I don't need a coach. I'm good. Well, it's really an arrogance. It's an arrogance that you know everything. So look at the top people in the world. They all have coaches. Jordan said at the end of his career, don't make me play without my coach, Phil Jackson. This is one of the greatest players in the world.
Wow.
So I have a hard time with people who think they don't need coaching, but they're fixed mindsets. Now, what this means is they'll most likely continue to get the same results. They'll probably blame everybody else.
Yeah.
When a good coach could actually just with a few tweaks open up everything for you. Then I have people that come into my programs. We've got one right now that's actually on my sales team. She worked her way into a job on my sales team. And she showed up, read every book I've written, watched every video I've ever done. And here she said to me one day, sometimes you never talk about the player playing their part. The coach has a part and the player has a part. She said, you need to teach people how to be coachable because they don't know. And I thought, you know what? I don't teach that. So if you're hungry, if you're humble, if you're teachable, if you have a desire to break through a ceiling, there's a hard way and there's an easy way. And the hard way is just keep doing it the way you're doing it, right? Mm-hmm. The easy way is to go to somebody who's very skilled at what they do. They've got a demonstrated capacity and go, show me how to do this. And I'll do it that fast. So a coach is an accelerator. Now, here's an interesting one. Did you know that in the old days, a coach was like a horse and buggy that actually carried important people from point A to point B?
Wow.
I think that's what a coach does. A coach helps people, they're all important, move from A to B in their life. And they're a very integral part of that. So you're coachable. You sought out coaches, right? But that's why you continue to grow. The people who are stuck and say, no, I don't need a coach, I don't want a coach, or they see it as an expense, which is hard for me to understand. They'll spend money on other things, but they won't invest in themselves to learn a capability.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What flaws and what are the most common problems that you see within coaches today? Things that you see and you're like, oh, man.
Well, here's a stat I use. And I used to have a strategist that I paid a monthly fee, and he would go gather data, come back. I would give him a problem. He'd solve the problem. He was a genius. And he came to me once. He said, man, I found this stat. You're going to love it. I want you to use it. He said there's 700,000 people in the United States that call themselves a coach. Okay. And he said, but the average income of those coaches is $47,000 a year.
Wow.
That's a problem. And I go, okay, how do I help those coaches? It could be that they know how to coach, but they don't know how to package, which is one of my skill sets. They don't know how to market. They don't know how to monetize. So that's why I started building out programs for people who want to coach. Like my new book is called The Making of a Coach. You know what I'm saying? It's like me teaching you, this is how I built this. This is how I come up with a concept. This is how I package a concept. This is how I speak on a concept. This is the product suite, right? Like this is how you do it. And so that's my attempt to help people monetize their genius, monetize their brilliance.
Very interesting.
Yep.
Huh. So I'm a coach and I don't have money for coaching, but I want to be a better coach.
Yep.
Walk me through that process that you would walk me through to package my purpose, market it, monetize it, et cetera.
So think of this as a formula. First, we find your primary skill because there's a lot of different coaches on a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Right. And they're very skilled. There's great sales coaches and there's great leadership coaches and there's great entrepreneur coaches. And so mine is helping people find, package, market, and monetize. Okay. So the first step is I got to help you find your demonstrated capacity, your real skill that the world needs. Right. And it's from your past. I got to help you find it. Then I have to help you package.
How specific does that have to be? So let's say I'm great at leadership. Is that too vague?
It's too vague.
Interesting.
And unless you're John Maxwell and you've written 93 books.
Sure.
But John Maxwell's written 93 books to let people know he's an expert at leadership. So I think the more specific you can be, the more specific you can be, the more you carve out a niche. See, I don't want to compete with Elliott in sales. I don't want to compete with Cardone in real estate. I don't want to compete with Milet. Yeah. What I want to do is say, they're great. This is where Coach Burt is a specialist, right? He's a coach, and he helps coaches go out and monetize their coaching. So the formula is find your X factor, package the X factor, which is anything the consumer can feel, touch, taste, see. Books, podcasts, intellectual property, speaking engagements, webinars. This greatness factor is a form of packaging. Yeah. Okay. Then I have to market that, and we generate thousands of leads a month for the coaching business, right? Through the ways we market our company. Then we need to monetize that, which is where a lot of people struggle. So that's what I help people figure out. Find, package, market, monetize.
Interesting. And if someone wants to do that, how do they get in touch with you?
They would just go to coachburt.com and say, hire Coach Burt, or talk with Coach Burt, or DM me on Instagram and say, look, I'm interested. Because I do it in short bursts, like the Micheal Burt School of Speaking, Coaching, and Writing. 2 days, you come in, I show you how I come up with a concept, how I build a product suite, how I market it, how I get speaking engagements. That's a little 2-day. I call it like a little appetizer. The Coach's Locker Room is a 1-year residence with me where I really take you through the whole thing. So you learn the whole board.
Beautiful. I love it. My last question to finish us off here is, coaches can be fathers. They can be within the church. They can be sales leaders. Everyone's a coach in some aspect.
That's right.
If they took away one thing from this podcast to go be better in that thing, father, whatever it might be, in their coaching capacity, what would you say to them?
I think what come to me first was the heart's need is to love and be loved. Whether you're a dad, and I'm a dad to 3 kids, and I just tell my daughter, man, you're going to do big things today. I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? You got a great talent about you. Learn to see people's potential and speak that potential into their life. You know what I'm saying? Like me telling my wife, I'm proud of you for building our couples division. I'm proud of you for shifting gears. I'm proud of you for wanting to coach. Like see, affirm and validate people's potential for what they can be. I think that's what coaching really is. It's like building confidence, maintaining confidence, protecting confidence. Because a lot of people think that coaching could be tearing people down and building them back up. And I see that because sometimes that's necessary. But where I am in my life today, it's like, man, I want to take people from here to there. And I want to go, you got a lot of talent. You got a lot of potential. Let's activate that. Let's tweak these few things, and you're going to go boom. So I think we can do that as dads, husbands, friends. Man, you're a great friend to me. I appreciate you. This is hard for a lot of people in today's world, right?
Yeah.
because we're so hardcore. We don't want to show that we're soft, but just affirming people and validating people. Man, you're really good at what you do. Keep it up. I'm proud of you. So I think that'd be my advice to people.
That's a nugget. I appreciate that. Well, thank you so much for your time. This has been a blast. If you mentioned it briefly, but how can our audience continue to learn from you?
CoachBurt.com. I'm on Instagram. I'm on everything. If you just search Coach Micheal Burt, YouTube's growing, Instagram's growing, and I think it's like the reels and the social media and what you see with me on those reels. Because I'll meet people and they go, "Man, you're just like on the reel." I am. That's who I am. I'm a coach. Okay, There's a lot of things I can't do in my life. Can't cook. I'm geographically illiterate. Can't fix a car. I was raised by a single mom, and we didn't learn a lot of those things. But man, God gave me the gift of being able to coach people and develop talent in people. And that's what I've spent my whole lifetime doing. So that's what I do with the people. I still coach every day. I still call people every day. I still follow up every day. That's, and I take pride in that.
I love that. The cool part is people can learn a lot from you for free.
Yeah.
YouTube, Instagram.
Absolutely.
I've learned so much from you, and that's just by following you.
Absolutely.
Briefly to close out, tell us about the book you just released.
Yep.
And just give us a taste.
So the book I just released is like a workbook called The Making of a Coach. And it's more like 12 chapters, 12 big concepts. It's intended to be the curriculum for my coach's locker room. But I do webinars on it for people who are interested in coaching so they can see. Because a lot of people think, well, I want to coach and I have something, but there's a lot that goes into this. Like it's a business, right? You got to generate leads. Somebody's got to follow up the leads. You got to service people. You got to build out the programs. You got to become known. Like it's not just I want to coach and then I go to making millions of dollars. It's like, okay, how do I take years of this, condense it into a book and into a 1-year cycle and put you in there so you can go learn from maybe some of the mistakes that I made. That's really what The Making of a Coach is. So you can get that only at my website, CoachBurt.com. With that comes a webinar where I do an hour and a half webinar to kind of give you a taste of the ice cream, what I say. But I'd like to get people in there and really coach them.
Good. Sounds like a good investment. Make it. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks
much
for coming
love.
to the Greatest Factory, man. Welcome to Nashville.
Thank you, bro. We'll talk soon.
All right, brother. Thank you.
That was awesome, man.
Good,
Thank
man.
you so much.
Thank you.
That was productive.